Hey everyone, we are here at TriggrCon 2018 unarmed because the organizers lied to me last year, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. We're making do with what we got, but we are up here in the beautiful state of Washington, and I am with Lewis here from Holosun. Now, you guys know that I really appreciate things that bring you a lot of bang for your buck. If you have all the money in the world, you can spend all the money in the world, but most of us are in a place where we have to be a lot more careful with our purchases, and we have to look a lot more into it. So you guys know I brought a lot of very, very high quality, budget-minded optics in front of you. However, I feel like I've been doing you guys a disservice because I haven't done much with Holosun. And I'm sure you guys, if you're watching this video, have probably heard of these guys. They're doing a lot of really cool stuff. And again, you've seen their stuff in some other places, but we're gonna try to cover, at least scratch the surface of your guys' product line and let you guys know why, if you haven't looked at their stuff, why you probably should and why I'm definitely going to be doing that. So what is the first thing that first of all, let's start at the basics. What does Holosun do? What is your guys' cup, like bread and butter?
Well, so Ryan, first of all, thanks for everything. Thanks for having us. For the guys that don't know who Holosun is, basically, we're the new kids on the block. We've been here for about 5 years now. Optics in general is either dirt cheap or super expensive. Mm-hmm. There wasn't really a middle ground offering features or useful features, quality performance, and still being, like you said, for some of the guys that are budget minded. And by trade, we're a LED and laser module manufacturer for many, many years. We saw an opportunity. We had some cool technology, useful technology that nobody really else had. Mm-hmm. We came out to the market about 5 years ago, and thankfully we're still here. Yeah. Pushing it through.
Yeah, and again, you see a lot of times, as you mentioned, you have super, super cheap, not even worth putting on a rifle, all the way up to the very, very high-end stuff. And I have one optic in particular that I've had ever since I first got into ARs. I bought it because it was the cheapest thing at the store, and I've kept it as a reminder to never, ever do that ever again, because it never worked once, and I got terrible customer service. Again, that's why I'm glad companies like Holosun are kind of bringing that, that good balance between still really good, durable quality, but also not making you pay an arm and a leg for it. So what's the first optic that you want to show us here today?
So basically, the gist of our product line right now, as I said, we're depending on the flavor you like, depending on what options you want. Our basic product line is between about $170 to about $350 to the consumer. Mm-hmm. It all depends on what you're looking for. So, for example, somebody looking for a basic system, okay, our entry level would be something like the 403B. Mm-hmm. Okay, 403B is a simple system. It's a dot only. Mm-hmm. Our product line is broken up into two models when you talk about optics. Mm-hmm. It's either going to start with a 4 or a 5. If it's a 4 series, it's a dot only. Simple. 2 MOA dot, nothing else. Now, for some of the guys that want close quarter combat, or if you want something that has more options built in, we have our 5 series system, and I'll show you one of those a little bit later. But this goes right now for about $170 street price on a 403B in the red configuration. New thing for Holosun now, as of late last year. This is actually the new green elite version.
Oh, okay.
So the biggest thing here is now, instead of running a red dot, we're running a green dot. But on a standard system, you're going to get AR riser included. You're going to get the low mount. You're getting a 2 MOA dot. This is a 50,000 hour battery life on a CR2032 battery. Again, when it comes to batteries, that's the weakest link for everybody.
Sure.
So what made Holosun stand out is we did some features and some technology to address that. This particular model has something called shake away. If you leave this unit alone and you have some user adjustability on the parameters, but out of the box, this system detects no movement at all for at least 10 to 15 minutes. It'll auto shut down and it'll continue to conserve that battery life. Now, as soon as the unit detects any type of movement, it's back on that last setting that you had.
Awesome.
So you're getting your AR risers, you're getting your low mount, comes with bikini covers already included, you're getting 2 MOA dot, 50,000 hour battery life, shake away technology. All of our products are night vision compatible at $170. Or if you want to go to the elite version, as you see here, you're looking at about $200, but you get that extra green, the new green technology that's pushing a little bit more battery life in the higher brightness settings compared to the red.
That's awesome. So one of the biggest things is especially when you look at competitors, is like mounting options straight out of the box. A lot of them come with like just a low mount. which is fine if you're mounting it to like an AK or an HK style rifle. But I would say most people who buy optics like this are planning on putting it on an AR. So having that co-witnessing height already from the factory with a a solid mount, can't really ask for much more than that. And you guys also have QD options from the factory too?
Correct. We have certain models. Once you get into the little higher upgrades,
sure,
you're going to pay a little bit of a premium price. But when you look at the overall package price point, it's still very competitive as far as for the guys that are looking for the QD systems. Also, as far as on our micro designs, they're compatible with industry standard mount. So even if you have a favorite company that you like to use for your QD mount or something, or fixed mount, whatever the case may be, if you don't want to use ours, chances are somebody makes something already compatible, and you have that option as well.
Perfect. And just to touch briefly on it, as he mentioned, it's a 2 MOA dot. If you've seen any other red dot videos I've done, you guys know that that's kind of my favorite dot size for a red dot. It's small enough to where you can still get some pretty good precision at long ranges with a 2 MOA dot. I've shot that 290-yard gong in some other videos very, very easily, very consistently. If you need it a little bit bigger, bump up the brightness. You got a little bit of a bigger aiming point. But again, you can still have that precision. Some competitors who may or may not be exhibiting here today have like a 4 MOA option. It's like, I kind of get why that's a thing, but I don't know. 2 MOA is kind of my preference.
It's a preference.
Yeah, sure. So okay, cool. And if people want to take maybe a step up from this guy, what else do you guys have?
We can go to the opposite extreme. Okay. This is something brand new on the market. Now this is getting into, we're trying to address, a little bit more, I want to use the right wording here, but some of the guys that want stuff that's going to compete spec-wise with the known stuff that's been out there that's being used by agencies, military, stuff like that. Again, we still want to do, and we want to stay true to what we're known for, which is still the innovative technology. We still want to have it useful technology. But the cool thing with us, again, since we do everything in-house, we have the ability to still maintain that competitive price point. So from $170, this is just a brand new offering. The biggest difference here is that this now is no longer an aluminum housing. So this is a 515 CT, and this is a elite green version as well, just like the 403B we just shown. This is full grade 5 titanium. So now we've gone not a little bit high, we've gone to the complete opposite spectrum.
Sure.
So not only do you have the internals have been bumped up in spec-wise as far as for waterproofing and that type of stuff, but now you have the physical unit itself. You're talking about 2.5, almost 3 times stronger metal to begin with.
Right.
Still in the same form factor and about the same weight anyways. Now, as you mentioned before, this particular system you have here, now we're including for you a quick detach for the guys that want to have a quick detach. The unit now also comes, in this particular case, you get the clear flip caps. These come included. The flip caps are also fully rotational, so you can put them in any position.
Sure.
And if you don't want them, snap them off.
Right.
Okay. With that as well, they come with an integrated kill flash as well. This just screws in and out, so you have the option if you want to run it, or you can take it out. But this is all included. This is now going to put you in that $350, $400 price point range, again, depending on the exact scenario. If we compare apples to apples compared to the 403B, the aluminum version, not the titanium version, as you see here of this system, is going to put you at about a $300 price point. Okay. So you're still going to get flip caps, you're still going to get your QD mount, all that stuff in an aluminum version. So you're paying a little bit more, but again, $300 with the mount included. It's actually a 2-piece mount. This one's a little bit different here, but on the aluminum version, this center section here is actually a spacer. So you can actually remove the spacer and make it a low mount QD as well.
Yeah.
So you're getting all of that extra bonus still at a $300 price point.
That was one of the cooler things, because I stopped by at the range day yesterday. They had a booth set up, and I stopped by, and when I saw that, it, again, one of those things where it's like, why haven't I seen this around more, where they have the QD option that can work either as with the riser or without. So whether you have it on an AR or an AK, HK, you still have that QD option. You don't have to have 2 separate QD mounts, which makes it a lot more expensive. All in one, you have all the options, which again, pretty impressive.
Yep.
So what if someone wants something a little bit with a bigger field of view, or maybe like a dot with a ring?
So that brings us to the most popular item that we make currently. A lot of you guys have probably seen this. This is the 510C. This is actually the full FDE version. So we do make a few of our offerings in FDE, very few of them, but the more of the popular ones. This is the most popular product that we make by far. Everybody just simply loves it. As you stated, it has the huge field of view. You're going to get the 2 MOA dot 65 MOA ring. The system allows you to run it 3 different ways. So one of the other innovations that we talked about was the multi-reticle system. All of the 5 series have that. The majority of your 5 series optics will give you the 2 MOA dot with the 65 MOA ring, and you have the option of turning the ring on and off. So if you want to go long range and you don't want the clutter, you can turn the ring off, have the dot only, and you can get a nice accurate shot. If you're worried about close quarters and you're talking about speed, you turn that ring back on, center mass, home defense, whatever the situation is, you're good to go. When we designed a 510, we actually now took it one step further. We added a 3rd reticle option, and now we ran it as ring only. The reason why we did that is this is viable, for example, home defense on a shotgun application. That ring is a spread of double-up bucket about 25 yards. So that helps that once the weapon is set up, people that are in a home defense situation, if you're worried about, hey, I'm shooting a shotgun, but I don't know where my pellet spread is going to go, well, now you have an idea.
Right.
If you, God forbid, if you have to engage in that type of situation. So that was the added bonus feature. One of the main things that this unit has, as well as several of our other products, the biggest innovation probably that a lot of the guys know us for is our solar failsafe. So all of our systems run on a 2032 battery. For the most part, the units will get about 50,000 hours of continuous battery life on a 2 MOA dot setting. If you're running the dot and ring combination, you're looking at about 20,000 hours. You're still looking over about 2 years of continuous use.
Right.
Again, if you're running it in a manual mode, you're going to have the shake awake. So that's going to help push that even further. Now you have the solar failsafe. So what the solar failsafe does, it does 2 different things. The main function of the solar failsafe was, if the battery fails, as long as you have ambient light, whether it be natural or artificial light, it can power the system up with no issue, depending on the reticle. Now, the other cool thing that the solar failsafe does, though, is it also has integrated basically the equivalent of like a photocell sensor. So the system allows you to run in what I call 2 different modes, what I call manual and automatic mode. Manual mode, the system always pulls from the battery, and basically it works like any other red dot on the market. You have your brightness controls. You want it brighter, push positive. You want it dimmer, push negative. Now, if you don't want to worry about that, you can put the system in automatic mode, and what it does, the system will calculate where you're at, the ambient lighting situation. It will auto brighten and it will auto dim as you need it.
Yeah, and we actually tested that out at the range yesterday. Super bright sunny day. We were under a little tent overhang thing, and we walked out from the shaded area to the lit area, and the dot was always visible. You didn't have to worry about it getting flooded out in the bright sunlight, and you didn't have to worry about it being too bright if that's an issue for you in CQB stuff in the darker areas. So it adjusted very, very quickly and very effectively. A couple things I wanted to mention too that I like about this. So he said it has the 3 reticle options.
Correct.
There are competitors that have similar-ish looking optics to this one that have multiple reticles also. The problem I have with those is they have a throw lever to select the reticle. The problem with those is as soon as you start messing with that, you lose your zero. Your zero goes out the window. This, it's not like that. It's the same reticle. You're just basically selecting different aspects of it to be on, so you don't have to worry about a wandering zero, correct?
Correct, right. There is no mechanical shift here. And as you stated, anything mechanical at the end of the day, over time and wear and tear, you do have that risk. We have the ability to basically take any part of the reticle and turn it on and off. That's essentially what we're doing.
Right.
That's the technology that we were able to design several years ago. So you can switch back and forth. It will never shift zero because nothing is moving. I'm just turning one section off, one section on, or vice versa.
Yeah, so that's a really good option. And then again, as he said, with just the 65 MOA ring, there's a lot of people who, again, have shotguns for home defense who have not properly patterned their gun with their defense ammo. You should do that. You absolutely should do that so you know what those pellets are doing, because you're responsible for everything that leaves the barrel.
Yep.
So if you hit the bad guy, great. But if you also hit someone behind the bad guy, not great at all. So knowing, even giving yourself a bigger buffer room, because you said 25 feet approximately with buckshot, that's honestly probably further than what you're going to shoot in your house. So by having even a safety area on the outside of that, making sure all those rounds go into the intended target is extremely important. Can't emphasize that enough. Go pattern your shotguns. You owe it to yourself.
Yeah. And one of the cool things with this unit too, we obviously make it in black. We make it for a specific dealer, as you see here in the FDE configuration. One of the first things we started playing with as well, this is a main 6061 body. However, because of that strength, because of the open design, we wanted to take it up a notch. We no longer did aluminum here. This is actually now grade 5 titanium. But the coolest thing for me on this particular model is nothing that we've just talked about. One of my issues has always been a lot of the guys have several guns there now. A lot of guys are looking at customizing their weapon systems. So you'll see a lot of, nicely Cerakoted, Duracoated, Krylon, whatever the situation is.
Sure.
And you have these cool schemes, but then you're stuck with a plain optic.
Yeah.
And no manufacturer, including us, if somebody sends their optic out, we can't warranty it. Unfortunately, we don't know the conditions it's being done, so on and so forth. But the cool thing on the 510 specifically is that this shroud, this titanium shroud, is actually user replaceable. So now, as an end user, I can get my gun custom coated. I can remove 4 screws, pop off this secondary protective shroud. I can get it match painted, Cerakoted. The fact that it's titanium, now you can get even crazier. You want to do PVD anodizing, regular anodizing, something like heat anodizing, like the guys with the knives do, that type of stuff. You can do it. If for some reason the optic does give you an issue and we need to service it for you, you're going to send it back to me, but keep your housing.
Right.
We'll get it, repair it or fix it or replace it, whatever the situation is. I want to send it back to you without a housing. You're just going to take your 4 screws and pop them back on, and nobody knows anything different.
Yeah, and even with that, you guys know I've done spray painted a lot of my guns, and I always have to tape over the optic. No matter how good you think you are taping things, every once in a while you leave a little bit of an open patch, and I've had to use some solvent to get some of the paint off. Yeah, exactly. Overspray is a very polite way of putting a mess up on my part. So the option of being able to take the shell off and paint that separately without having to worry about putting paint where it shouldn't go is a really good alternative, especially for me, who I'm lazy. I don't even like taking the BCG apart. I just close everything up, spray paint it, and then hope for the best. So again, a better option for those of you who actually want to put a little bit more care and attention into it. Also, you can paint it with the optic off, which means you don't have this weird black bare spot when you take it off, which I've had on a lot of my rifles too. But it is what it is.
And all of that at $300 street price.
Right, exactly. So what else do you want, people? What else do you want? All right.
So, we have some other stuff. I mean, obviously, we make a little different form factors. Some guys like a bigger field of view. You have something here like the 30 millimeter tube. Same thing, we do it in red, we do it in green. As far as for reticle color, excuse me. Sorry. And like I said, we're trying to offer a little bit of everything. One of the biggest things right now for everybody, this is kind of what everybody's really been waiting for. It's out. I apologize if you can't find it. But basically, what we did here was we took the 510 that we just spoke about and all of those features that we talked about, the multi-reticle system, actually not $50,000 battery life, I'll explain that in a minute. Multi-reticle system, solar fail-safe, shake awake, all that stuff, we just shrunk it. And now you can use it on a long gun, AR system, whatever you want, shotgun as well, or now you have the ability to also mount it on a pistol. The main thing with this unit is 2 main differences. Number 1, the ring size is not our standard 65 MOA ring, and that's simply because the window's too small, so it would not look right and it doesn't work. So this ring size is actually a 32 MOA ring size, so that helps a little bit. And the other thing, as I mentioned before, we were not able to get 50,000 hours average battery life out of this. This unit on a 2 MOA dot at mid setting is actually averaging about 100,000 hours of battery life.
Is that all?
If you're running the ring and dot configuration, we're looking at close to about 50,000 hour battery life.
That's insane.
And again, battery is a battery.
Right.
You got a bad battery, something happened to the issue, you still have the solar fail-safe integrated as well as a backup.
Absolutely.
And also $300.
Yeah, and so here's the thing that I really appreciate about the ring and dot configuration of these dots. So I'm still yet to be sold on red dots on pistols, and one of the issues that I've run into is with the pistol, typically you want a bigger reticle because it's faster to pick up, but with the bigger reticle, you're now obscuring more of your target and it's hard to be precise. So by doing the ring and dot, you still, and it's again, essentially the same look as this, just kind of shrunk down a little bit. By having that ring, you have something very quick and easy, so it kind of lessens that learning curve. You can get that presentation out, you're gonna see that ring, and then you can do your precise aiming from there, and it's gonna keep that reticle easier to find until you've really built that muscle memory to where it's just second nature anyway. But this kind of bridges that gap where it's like, okay, I have the precision of a smaller dot, but it's harder to find unless you're using it properly, which is hard when you haven't done it before. But you also have the big reticle that's easy to find, but you're not now obscuring half of the target that you're now trying to put your rounds where you want them to go.
Right,
So,
and you pretty much hit it on the head. That's the reason why we wanted to apply what we've been doing to this system. When you look at rifles, everybody wants small dots. Why? You're looking for more longer range, and you want to be able to see and not obscure stuff. When you're looking at pistol systems, a lot of guys are going for the really big dots. And the main reason is because I want to find it quick. But the bigger the dot, if you start pushing out to distance, you're going to block more. Your field of view is getting obscured. So we took the same concept of the 510, shrunk it down into here, and then now, as you said, you can run it as a dot only, you can run it as a ring and dot, but now you can also run it as just a ring. So what the ring allows you to do is it gives you the ability to use it as a big dot, because it's a big ring. You're going to find it fast. However, the fact that it's a ring, now I'm looking through it. I have no obscurement. So in a self-defense situation, hand gestures, body movements, everything, I can still see through the ring, but I found it quick. And when you look at the numbers, this is the most important part I tell people as well. When you look at what's normally available, 6, 8, 10, 12 MOA, and I tell you, hey, this ring is 32, when you do the numbers, hey, that's really big. That's not going to work. However, if you actually reverse the numbers, in the average self-defensive situation, which is 7 to 10 yards, that ring from edge to edge, okay, when you're looking through it, it's actually only covering about 2 inches. So it's big, but it's still a precise shot.
Right.
And again, if you're worried about precision, you can just run the dot included.
Right.
The good thing is our system allows the versatility that you pick and choose what you're comfortable with and what will work for what you want to use it for.
yeah, I hadn't considered that with just doing the ring only on the pistol. That makes a lot of sense because one of the big issues with iron sights, because I've taught firearm safety classes and pistol classes. One of the things we always tell people is if there's not an immediate threat, but you still have your gun drawn, having it dip down a little bit so you can still see what's going on because your sights are now obscuring half their body. Being able to have an open ring, that actually solves a lot of those issues. So
Correct.
I'm glad you mentioned that. It's light bulbs popping off in my head right now. You guys are doing laser setups for IR lasers. You guys are doing all different kinds of red dots. Are you guys at all looking at doing any magnified optics, like 1 to 4s, 3 to 9s?
It's in the works. Magnified optics is a completely different animal.
Sure.
It's something that we're looking into. We have a lot of our loyal customers asking for, hey, are you going to come out with a magnifier? I want to run everything Holosun or something like that. We've talked about it. It's stuff that we're looking into, but nothing that we can say, hey, we have a definitive date or time frame of what we want to do.
Sure.
Right now, it's still up in the air. Okay. The main thing we're concentrating right now is the new thing for us is the new green dot technology. Okay, that's already out, and so far the response has been very well. And as I shown earlier, some of the things that we're doing now is pushing that envelope as far as now we're trying to get away from aluminum because we can kind of bring a quality product now in a full titanium housing. For example, like this is a 512 prototype that we're finally working on. People will release it later on, but I can still bring it at a price point that is still competitive with any of the aluminum counterparts, but you're physically getting something that's not only are you having the rigidity inside, I'm giving you the bonus of now you're looking at housings that are giving you 2.5, 3 times more strength. So it's taking up a notch, but you're not paying not $8, $9, $1,000 for an optic.
Sure.
I can still get you in that $400 or $500 range, which is still very competitive when you go now to this level compared to what other else is being available currently right now in the market.
That's awesome. So, I guess if you haven't figured it out yet at this point, you really need to school yourself up on the Holosun line of products, because again, we've at this point we've only scratched the surface. There's some other stuff here, but for sake of time, we'll call it at the products we've shown. But they have a long line of products, again, in various options, whether it be the traditional aluminum all the way up to the titanium,
Right.
different mounting options, different color options, as you saw with the FDE. But you said that's a special run for a certain distributor.
Yes, it is. It's currently available, but we do have some other models that are also available in FDE as well.
Okay.
That is, you can pretty much available through your normal dealer channels as well.
Perfect. So again, with the Shake Awake, with the solar panels, I mean, there's a lot of really, really cool stuff going on here. So I highly encourage you to check it out. I'm definitely interested, and I definitely want to get a lot more hands-on time with these Holosun products and test them out for myself. But I can say right now, I'm color me impressed, and again, there's a lot of videos out there already. I know Mr. Guns and Gear has done videos on like their lasers and stuff like that. So definitely check out those existing videos. But again, I'm gonna see what I can do about getting some in and testing them myself, because some pretty impressive stuff here. Anything else that you wanted to cover here, or you think is worth?
No, like I
here?
said, I mean, pretty much gone over everything. As you stated, we have some form factors and stuff that we're playing with. Still in the works. So I mean, you might see it, and the next time we actually release it, it might be a little bit different. We're always constantly trying to evolve. We like to show products off at a lot of the shows that you see here, like TriggrCon, because we like to see we like to get the input back. Hey, I really like the way it looks, but have you ever thought about doing this, or so on and so forth? And that's the reason why sometimes you'll see some of our products and it'll keep showing, but we're still fine-tuning as we get more and more input, because we always want to try to push out the best product that we can when it's actually being pushed out and when it's available. Obviously, that's always easier said than done, but that's ultimately what we're trying to do on a day-to-day basis.
Sure. So if people want to see your whole product line or be on top of new releases, where can they go?
Very easy, www.holosun.com. They'll find everything, not only stuff that is currently available, but they can find information on stuff that is coming out, like some of the newer titanium stuff, the titanium laser lines. They can still find that information, at least get educated of what will be coming down the pipeline as we have stuff available.
Awesome. So depending on where you're watching this, whether it be Full 30 or YouTube, there may or may not be links below, but definitely go to holosun.com in case there's not a link below, or even just Google search Holosun, you'll find it.
Yep.
But again, check out their whole line of products. Really, really awesome features at a very appealing price point. So there's really not much else to say other than that. But thank you very much for your time, Louis.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it, and thank you to our customers. We appreciate the loyalty, and we're going to keep doing what we can do for you.
Awesome. So again, we're going to be doing a lot more coverage here at TriggrCon 2018. So definitely stay tuned for that. But as always, I hope you got something out of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.